My favorite author, Jandy Nelson, describes it. Somebody knows Jandy? Okay. She describes it as wobbly people poles. It's this idea that we are all just an amalgamation of the things we learn from others. I really like this metaphor, and I like it for a few reasons. The first is that as wobbly people poles, the more versions of ourselves that we collect, the higher off the ground we get until we can barely see the person at the bottom. I also like that wobbly people poles represent our connection to others. After all, how do we get all these different versions of ourselves without first risking it all for a moment where you have the chance, not even the guarantee, to see someone and to be seen in return? How do we get all these different versions of ourselves without changing? And in order to change, we have to give up parts of ourselves to make room for new ones. And those new parts come from other people poles who have risked exactly for you what you have for them. Finally, maybe what I like most about this metaphor is that even the ugliest versions of ourselves have an important place in the structure. I mean, yes, they're what makes it so wobbly, but rigidity never served anyone. Even the trees in the forest sway so as not to snap. My sibling and I called my grandmother Momo. And Momo really liked to play Uno with us. I love Uno. Simple rules. Down, down, down to one, then nothing. Now, Uno got a little heated with us, as most families tend to. I really liked making alliances and breaking alliances. But it was a really good way to just spend time. We didn't always have the words when we were with each other. There's so much divide between the generations. But Uno, that's where it was. After one long night of marathon Uno games and a big family dinner, Momo went to go lay down for a little bit. But I could tell she didn't want to be left out of the festivities, which was a feeling I knew well as the youngest, so I went to go check on her. I kneeled by her bed, and I just laid my head on her chest, and we sat there for a while, wordlessly. Two kindred spirits, the root and the blossom. Momo was my safe haven. I adored her. She was one classy lady, and she was my biggest supporter. I mean, really, she was at every show, and there were a lot. You name it. I was on the stage, she was in the audience, and she kept the programs for all of them. It's in a folder about this big now, which is a real testament to the way that she loved me. She knew that I had the ambition to be here doing this, which is not an easy task, to be a performer, to be an artist. But she knew I had it in me. Last year, I sat with her on her deathbed, and I stroked her hair, and I leaned my head on her chest, wordlessly, because we never did need words. And I got to tell her that I was coming here to Chicago, which was her city, mind you. And I told her she was right. This is what I'm meant for. She had lost her words at that point and all of her ability, but I knew she heard me. We never did need words to see each other playing. Mm-hmm. When she died a few days later, she left me with just enough money to buy myself a train ticket across the country, to move into an apartment by myself, to start the life we both knew that I could and I would. stand here on my Momo's shoulders, and on the shoulders of every past version of myself I got to get here. I stand on the shoulders of those who let me go, and those I gained. I am so grateful to be a people pole, wobbles and all. Grateful to have met so many other people poles who have changed me, challenged me, inspired me, loved me. I am loved. What a wonderful thing. Loved enough to have been let go. Loved enough to have been broken. And loved enough to have been mended into one big, wobbly people bowl. Even when I'm looking down from very high above, I can't distinguish what is lost and what is love. Vultures swinging to and fro over heavenly decay. These vultures too will turn to hellish earth someday. You are, we are. You were, we were. Just a prelude to the life I learned to live by loving you. You're standing in the limelight and thinking you might have a voice, till the party's just a memory and the truth is just a choice. Shredded letters light the blaze of a necessary flame. Now I'm left with ashes, wondering who's to blame. Thank you for the power, and thank you for the pain. The 100 moments we have lost, and the ones we stand to gain. Blue skies and sunshine, thunder and rain are just a prelude to the life I learned to live by loving you. Soak up the power of all the heartbreaks that once were. Every death must turn over till new life begins to stir. Kiss the buttons on your coat and say I love you out loud. Just hoping that the steps I take will always make you proud.